The Holocaust, the event based on racism that changed the world. Racism is a topic that we have seen in all phases of the world throughout time. We have seen it in the Holocaust, racial segregation in the United States, the Rwandan genocide, and more. But today I'm going to focus on the first one, the Holocaust. The Holocaust took place during the Second World War, and it became the most well known genocide in history because it left 6 million people dead. The Holocaust was worse than any other genocide. This heartless event happened between 1941 and 1945, but it started in 1933 with the regulations and laws against the Jews. The origin of the event was the Nazi German regime, and the person responsible for these terrible actions, as you will know, was Hitler. They didn't just take away people's life in an easy way. No, they tortured them in concentration camps where Jews received inhuman treatment. The Nazis forced them to do hard labor without giving them enough food, and sometimes not even food at all. When the Jews arrived at those infernal places after some time, they were murdered with poisonous gas and their dead bodies were burned, and that's the reason for the name Holocaust. Why did the Nazis do such horrible and heartless things? The reason is that they believed they were superior and wanted to exterminate all those they consider inferior. Not only Jews, but also Black people, the people, gypsies, the physically and mentally disabled, communists, and many more. But the Jews were the main victims because Hitler believed they were an evil race that wanted world domination. This event had a huge impact on the world because of the millions of innocent mothers, the destruction of whole families, the injustice everywhere, and a culture of racism. All because they were different to the others. Three of the most important aspects of the Holocaust are: first, it was a genocide of huge dimensions. Wars at least had political reasons. This event was purely based on racism. Number two, all the areas and levels of the Nazi government supported these terrible actions. And number three, it affected the entire world. Why did it affect the whole world? What were the consequences of the Holocaust? Number one, an extremely high number of innocent deaths and the disappearance of entire communities. Number two, health and mental problems among survivors. Number three, it contributed to the creation of the United Nations after the Second World War with the goal of making sure that such horror and dehumanization will never happen again. Four, it showed the importance of not letting these terrible actions against humans go just because they are different. And number five, it showed the consequences of letting genocides happen. Second World War and the Holocaust contributed to the creation of the United Nations, with the intention that such horrible events will never happen again. But sadly, they did. For example, racial segregation in the United States, the Rwandan genocide, and more. If they had created this institution after the First World War, they might have prevented these future wars and genocides. What would I have done to make things better? If I had lived at that time, I would have created that United Nations after First World War, knowing that disasters that wars can cause. Because if I had seen that the different countries had problems they couldn't resolve, I would have said, we need an intermediary to help us to maintain peace. Then I will have created that United Nations and established human rights to prevent this from happening. Besides that, I will have created a human rights institution in every country that is part of the United Nations with representatives of this institution in every state of every country. There will have been 3 meetings per month in every state, 1 meeting per year in every country, and one global meeting with all the countries. This will have prevented events like the Holocaust, and people will have been protected and their rights respected. And I know you're going to say me, but hey, said there are many countries and states. Well, I know, but a big changes need a lot of help. Because despite all these ideas and the current help from different institutions, racism continues, not in the same way as before, but it still exists. And I really wish that future generations wouldn't have to deal with murders, racism, genocides, and wars. I wish they will be inclusive with all people. I wish we could live in a fair world. That's all. Thank you.